I needed that. I'm going to come to you this evening as a bit of a heretic. So if you want to get out the pitchforks and torches any old time, that'll be fine. I have to tell you up front, I love you guys. I'm one of you. I'm a dyed-in-the-world, six-day creationist. So I'm not going to be telling you that God meant something other than a day when he said a day, and I'm not going to be telling you that there's any other means of getting us here other than a sovereign God. But what I will have to say may give some of you a bit of a case of spiritual indigestion. It's okay, God can handle that too, and we can talk more about it. As I've been pursuing my giftedness in creation and teaching and such, I've moved more and more towards the realm of apologetics in general, not leaving my foundation in creation apologetics and creationism. I think it is the foundation, and it's the foundation of all good doctrine. But as Josh McDowell has pointed out fairly recently, that we've entered in a kind of a different spiritual climate these days. We're no longer fighting the battle against secular humanism, atheism, etc. Now the battlefront has moved. And just like generals, we tend to be very well trained to fight the previous battle, to fight the last war. Okay, since the battlefront seems to have moved into the realm of postmodernism, extreme relativism, teaching the hardcore facts of creation, intelligent design, DNA, astronomy, genetics, paleontology, is unfortunately missing the target audience largely. Okay, so I have, for the most part, changed my teaching venue to what I call drive-by apologetics, one-on-one. You can still use creation concepts in this fashion. One of my favorites is, kind of like my father. He had the ability to play really stupid and ask the dumb question, and he'd do something and then just kind of have this puzzled expression on his face. And does anybody here own sunglasses? Why do we need sunglasses? But why aren't our eyes designed to do that already? Maybe our eyes were designed for that couldn't be. A different atmosphere, that maybe something blocked out the harsh solar... No, that can't be. That's drive-by apologetics. Still creation, still points to a designer, but it's attacking the new front, the new battlefront. Special effects, I like it. Isn't this great? Yeah, see, I told you, pitchforks and torches in the old time now. So I'm also finding, with the younger people in particular, that parables speak more to their needs, their questions, than talking about biblical authority and God is their creator, so he makes all the rules all the time. So I use various parables. You can paraphrase biblical parables. One of my favorites would be the story of a rich man, very, very wealthy man, who had two sons. One son was very productive, very hardworking, worked in the family business and such, and the younger son was a little bit out there, a little rebellious. And the father, knowing this, had set up a trust account for the son to inherit or access when he reached 21. But the son, being rather creative, found a way to shall we say, access these funds behind his father's back. And not only did he do that, but he accessed his father's 401k, stock trading account, and somehow these funds disappeared into the son's hands, and he found himself in Las Vegas. How that happened, I'll never know. And most of these funds went on the table and down his throat and up his nose and in the sack, you know, as much as you can possibly imagine. So very soon, these extensive funds were gone, and he found himself living in a cardboard box in the alley and somehow even finding his way into the sewer. And he realized, you know, gee, back home, even the pool boy does better than this, you know. He says, I'll go back to my dad and I'll tell him, gee, Dad, you know, I can't even call you Dad anymore. Could I just be the pool boy? So he heads back home, and his dad, you know, he's kind of looking out for his son. He has people, you know, out there looking, and finds out his son is heading home, and he goes out and gets him in the car, puts him in the rolls. You know, this kid stinks of the sewer, puts him in the rolls, and he starts his prepares to be, Dad, you know, I don't even want to call you Dad. You know, can I just be the pool boy? Son, I am so excited to see you. He says, you know, come on home. We're going to celebrate having you home. He says, I just want you to know how much I love you. And as a matter of fact, we're going to do something very special. We're going to actually go through an adoption ceremony and adopt you back into the family. And the son said, well, how does that work? And the dad says, well, as you know, biological heirs can be disinherited, but adoptive heirs can't. So he gets home, draws up the papers, and at this point, the older son, who's been working in the family business, comes home and he says, you have got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding me. He took all this money. You wouldn't even give me a couple grand to celebrate with some of my friends. And here you are, you know, basically turning over the family business to him and inviting everybody we know to celebrate. He says, don't you understand that your brother that was dead is now alive and back with us? So a modern version of a very familiar parable, but it speaks